Hey, podcast. Yay.
Yay. So,
We live in interesting times.
yeah, we do.
Yeah. Woo. I'm Casey, that's Zero. Hi
Hi.
everybody.
Hi.
Hmm. Full disclosure, I woke up 20 minutes ago, so,
You, well, good morning.
I mean, in fairness, it's morning where you are too, so I imagine you didn't, wake up that long ago.
It's 2:45 p.m. right now.
Oh, right, we don't do it. Yeah, okay. I forgot we don't do it, mm. Sundays is a different recording time. Yeah, that works differently. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I I've been following everything that's happening and it's kind of nuts.
It it's kind of nuts and nowhere near as bad as pretty much everyone was expecting it to be.
Hmm. Want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, okay, so we're sort of dancing around even saying the subject because this is a weird thing for us to talk about on this, podcast that has absolutely nothing to do with current events, aside from, creative stuff and things. So, the uh, conflict in Ukraine, I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
perfectly honest, that's pretty much all I've been focusing on for the past, how long has it been going? 11 days? Somewhere around there?
Yeah.
As of recording. Uh, yeah. I am going to be perfectly honest. The first day that it happened, I was like, oh, shit. They're going for a blitzkrieg. They're going to take Kiev in a single day, or two maybe, on the outside. And it's going to be a fait accompli. And that's going to be it. No one's going to be able to do anything about it. That didn't happen. And the extent to that not happening has been almost comical were it any other subject than what it actually is. Ooh. I. Ooh. Like, I. It's a difficult subject to talk about, so I'm going to preface this with, remember that this is all really bad shit, and a lot of people are dying, and it's all really fucking pointless. So, preface that with, yeah, I. It's gonna seem a little irreverent for how I'm talking about it, but no, we're pretty aware of how bad this shit really is, and holy crap, I was not expecting the level of disdain for humanity that Vladimir Putin seems to have. But okay, so when I point out that Russia seemed to have no concept of how to keep a supply line running or did any research on the terrain that they will be traveling through or seem to have any up to date information on what's going on because they keep trying to parachute troops into an airfield that they have no control over, so they're just sending uh, parachute troops to get shot down or just leaving them to land in the sea in the
Ugh.
middle of winter
Oh.
Uh, it's actually kind of baffling on every level how this conflict has gone so far, because it to be clear, I'm delighted as much as anyone can be for this sort of thing to go this way. Uh, on the other hand, I can only feel terrible for the Russian troops that are going through this, because from how the planning has been done and how Russia has approached this conflict, they have no chance. Like, everyone that's already been sent in has been screwed from the start, and it's said to be that, they're all conscripts, they're all uh, political dissidents, because that's how Russia rolls. You know, they just send people in who they want to die so that they can die and be no longer a problem. There are reports that they are sending people in to die pointlessly because that means they don't have to be paid.
Ugh. That's an entire other level of evil.
Yeah. And that speaks to nothing of the bombing of very clearly non military targets, of sending in weapons that are explicitly banned by the Geneva Convention, which we know because Ukraine captured them. Not because they were used by Russia, but because Ukraine managed to. They are now on the very short list of countries that own thermobaric weapons. Which. Okay. Is. I am sure that on the ground the idiom war is hell still exists in the standard definition of that particular phrase, but this is also an entirely different version of hell for war to be. Russia seemed to have invented a new one of, like, no one in the chain of command knows what the fuck they're doing.
Did you see about the tires? How they were all rotted on their trucks?
Uh, on
From
on the
from
trucks and on the tanks, the treads have been
from
rotted out as well.
yeah, from failed regular maintenance.
Yep. Because what
And
you need to do
so
with those is at least, like, I think it's once a month or once a year. I can't remember.
once a month you have to turn them over.
Yep, you have to take them out, drive them for a little bit, and it's basically the same as a car. Like, you can't just leave it sitting in your driveway for a month, and, like, bad things will start to happen. So, Russia apparently didn't do that, so their vehicle maintenance is failing. Their troops didn't know they were going to war. Only a few of the command troops did, and they keep getting picked off. So it becomes a situation where the commander of a platoon or a brigade or whatever gets killed, and then the next in command has to wait to be briefed on what their orders actually are before they can do anything, because they don't know why the fuck they're there. They were just told to do what the other guy said. It's, like I say, it would almost be comedic if it wasn't, oh my god, so horrifying on every level. Uh, though, while a lot of this is actually a topic that is completely outside our wheelhouse, there are elements of it that do filter into our wheelhouse, which is a surprising amount of game development that goes on in Ukraine. Several developers that work out of there, and There's Ubisoft Ukraine that was there because Ubisoft have studios all over the fucking world that
Hmm.
work on every single one of their games, and Ubisoft have been, by all appearance and by their statements, we obviously can't see what's happening on the ground again. Um, they've been doing everything they can to get their people out and have them uh, taken care of while they're evacuating, if they chose to evacuate. Um, and then you got companies like Wargaming have a lot of people there as well. Um, yeah, so that's. Oh, and what was I don't know the name of the developer, but the creators of the Stalker games, obviously, given what those games are about, are, you know, from the region. Um, so they're dealing with how they're dealing, and naturally it delayed the game, which is again almost comical if it weren't for the subject matter. Um, and then we've got the Russian side of things because we've had sanctions against Russia from everybody.
Yeah,
The ruble is now worth about the same amount as the yen.
that's no good.
Yeah, that's really not good. And most payment facilitators refuse to work within Russia, so credit cards and PayPal don't work, which there are a lot of Patreon creators in Russia who uh, Patreon are being as accommodating as they can be because they literally have no control over this shit. So what they're doing is they can't take payments from Russians, from patrons that are in Russia. So there's nothing they can do about that. And creators, they can't pay out to creators. So what they're doing is holding the money that they earn within Patreon. I mean, you and I both run a Patreon. You run the one for the
Yeah.
channel. I run the one for myself, my writing. So we both know there is a facility for Patreon to just hold money for you until you want to
Mm.
take it out. So that's what they're doing for Russian creators. Is just the money is still coming in. It will still be there. So hopefully, when all of this shakes out, you can just take it out and continue as you were, kind of thing. And that's literally the best that they can do because they have no control in any of this. Hmm. So yeah.
The a lot of the Russian people, a wide majority, don't want this. Um, Protests
Hmm.
broke out throughout the country in numerous
Yeah.
different states.
Credit to those people who are protesting because, well, previous protesters are currently dying in Ukraine. So credit to them for their incredible bravery uh, to protest at all, because that's just what happens in Russia. You don't get to do that without facing consequences from the state because Vladimir Putin is a tiny little baby man uh, who deserves everything that is probably coming to him because pretty much everyone, including Russia, kind of wants him dead at this point. So yeah. Hmm.
And the the Russians, like the POWs, like, hey, we were told that Ukraine was going to welcome us, and that like this is going to be a. They did. The misinformation was so bad from like their own country and just the what's the word um propaganda. Yes,
Yeah.
the propaganda is
We're going to
intense.
denazify Ukraine from their Jewish president.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's all awful all over, and that's to say nothing of Russia being incredibly underhanded, but have through this completely ruined any credibility they have in negotiations, because on multiple occasions they've said, hey, we're going to go into negotiations, and then just completely continued shelling and bombing everyone. Like, they were in the middle of negotiations when this war started.
Hmm.
There are reports that one of the Ukrainian delegations to one of these negotiations has been killed while in negotiations. Uh, hmm. So, even in the best case scenario, I feel like Russia have lost their seat at the table, so to speak. Even at the best case scenario for Russia, I mean. So, that's. There is a lot in this situation where I kind of want to say that's good, but I can't. Hmm. It's nice that there is a little more transparency with everything that Russia does. Like, there is constantly talk of like the Russian bot farms of like, hey, stir up Discord in, ironically, not so much Discord, but Facebook and Twitter. Hey, it's a joke to lighten the mood. Like Facebook and Twitter and all that shit, where they just say the most rotten and horrible things and make it seem more normalized because more people, more quote unquote people, are saying it. Uh, and that kind of shit has gone very suddenly very quiet. So, it's a little telling. All the Facebook groups on like anti-vax and how horrifying the American government is in like all the liberals want to. I don't fucking know what these people say anymore, but the point is basically no one was actually saying them that had a credible thought in their brain. That's really unfair. It's really easy to be convinced by what seems like a lot of people saying things that you kind of wish were true. Um, is what I will say in a paper thin defense of such behavior and beliefs. Um, so all of those going silent suddenly has left a lot of people in the extreme right wing and in uh, pro Russia and pro China and pro dictator and obviously pro Trump have suddenly been left floundering. Like, oof. No more posts on those groups, so everyone's just going like, "What the fuck's going on? Why is it so quiet?" I've been cancelled. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So that's that. Um, but yeah, I felt that kind of required talking about. Even if you know, It's not really our thing, but it's one of those things where it's kind of too important not to. So, you know, for the record, I did donate to the Ukrainian Red Cross. I recommend other people do so if you feel strongly about this, and if you're able to spare something to help refugees, or there are ways to donate directly to the Ukrainian military if you feel inclined to do that. I'm not quite there myself, but that is an option. There are methods to do so. So, yeah. There are a lot of people in a lot of trouble right now in that region. So, if people can help, so.
Uh, I have been, donating, of course, to try to, whatever organizations I can to help out in Ukraine. So,
So yeah, I think we've pretty much covered as much as more than we really needed to, but maybe I needed to vent a little bit on the subject.
I can tell you were bottling that up.
Yeah, so I apologize for a lot of that. I was bottling it up, but also it's like just slightly releasing the pressure on a valve, so you can just slowly vent a little bit because things I actually want to say, probably not quite so kosher. So that was me keeping it toned down. So, that's what it is. So I apologize for that. But Zero, how you doing?
Hi.
How do you want to segue out of this into talking about video games?
Okay. So, on a lighter, happier, more joyful note, Pokemon Generation 9 has been announced.
Oh, so it has. Yes. Everyone
Featuring
loves Fuecoco.
Fuecoco, who is I love Fuecoco, the jalapeno dragon.
Yeah, I love Fuecoco memes. Just like
Fuecoco, thank.
all of the Pokemon that just have that hinged jaw at the top and are just like ah.
It's so cute. I love it. Fuecoco, great. It looks like they're just taking a lot of the assets they used and created from Arceus and just bringing it over into like fully realizing a 3D Pokemon world where there are no loading screens between towns and the outside world.
Yeah, this from the trailer, it looks like they had a base from which they could absolutely have gone in two directions for this game. If Legends came out and was great and was well received, they could do some Legends stuff with it. If not, maybe we could tune this more to be like the older ones a little bit, and do that instead.
I hope the catching is like in Legends. I really do. Because that catching is very fast, it's easy, and it's fun. If I have to enter into battle to catch every Pokemon, that's going to feel like a step down, you know?
Yeah. I'm wondering about the battle mechanics specifically, because, if they're going for a Legends style, they very much took a pivot in terms of battle style on that. Like, I've played it now, so I know what it feels like. It does feel very different from the old style. if See, the thing is that I think you mentioned it specifically, and we talked about it, was how that style doesn't really suit itself to competitive play.
Yes.
Um, there have been people that know the competitive space better and how it works and what the particular idiosyncrasies are of those systems, um, and have said, yeah, this no, it wouldn't work for Legends. That's not the fundamental mechanics of how turn order is assigned. Just alone, completely nixes the idea of competitive. It doesn't work. Um, thing is, I have to wonder how much Pokemon actually care about the competitive scene.
I okay. I My theory is that a lot of the elements that were cut out, like abilities and such, are going to return. And my reasoning for that is because the Pokemon and Legends do have abilities. They're
Hmm.
just turned off.
I mean,
Data miners
they have
found.
to have abilities for the sake of compatibility because home
Yeah.
support they're doing that, and you've got to be able to send a Pokemon into home and then transfer it to another game for that system to work. Ideally,
So I do wonder to the full extent how much is the gameplay different? What have they changed? The game's coming out this year,
yep,
which
end of the
is
year.
kind of insane. Likely in November. That's whenever Pokemon games always release. It's November,
Mm.
typically. Um,
There is a good chance it will be delayed into 2023 just for marketing. Well, it's a
always
toss up.
release right. They always release right in time for the holidays.
Yeah, it's a toss up because holiday window, but also holy shit, are people starting to get a little bit fatigued with Pokemon? Because this will be 3 titles in a 12-month period.
They at the same time that they are having this announcement. By the way, they dropped a huge update for Arceus, which has multiple quests, post game stuff, a new mechanic called mass outbreaks, like massive mass outbreaks, something where it's instead of just one mass outbreak, you now have a ton of them all over the map.
Hmm.
And you can now have mass outbreaks of entirely just alphas.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's cool that they're still supporting the game despite releasing another one in 7 months, 8 months. Yeah.
Hey, Fuecoco is cool. The other, the Donald Duck is cool.
For a certain definition.
You have Sprigatito.
Sprigatito.
Gatito.
Sprigatito.
Sprigatito.
Yeah,
Uh,
I feel like they're doing Spain. Spain,
yes.
Mediterranean, I think is broadly what it might be. Um, so I feel like once this game comes out and we get the full decks, we're gonna get another of those fucking Pokecito videos because just so many of the names are going to fit too well to not do it. Yeah, so that's gonna be a thing. I look forward to that. I still love that video. Yeah, that's cool though. Like a Mediterranean region because we've had France, we've had Britain, we've had America, Hawaii, and 4 different regions of Japan. Which Japanese company makes sense. Um, I probably. I don't want to say I would have preferred like India or like Indochina subcontinent or anything like that. Like that would have been interesting, but like I can't really judge because I haven't seen that at all, and I've barely seen anything from this one, so I'll roll with it. I'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of have some Spanish themed um like Pokemon, because
Mm,
there's lots of myths and different things that people are all of a sudden just bringing up of like, oh, there could be this Pokemon based off that or this or that,
mm.
that are, native to Spain, and I'm like, well, I didn't know any of these things.
I am imagining gargoyles, but one of those already exists. That's just Aerodactyl. That's what that is. Hello.
Uh, yeah, I'm just thinking gargoyles. Sorry, getting distracted by gargoyles. Uh, Flashback to the cartoon gargoyles.
Yeah, just flashback to Keith David and
um,
that woman from Star Trek. I forget her name.
so aside from Pokemon, um, I did play Elden Ring, but before I get into that,
Mm.
I saw the new Batman movie with Robert
You mean
Pattinson,
the Batman?
the Batman,
I
and
don't even know whether that film is worth making fun of, but I just want to call it the Batman every time now.
so the Batman is one of my favorite Batman movies
Oh, cool.
because it is a movie about Batman being a detective.
Oh, cool.
It literally it starts with a bit of it's very like film noir style. With it starts with him having going on a bit of a monologue about the city and his philosophy a little bit.
Mm.
But it's pretty good. And then we go straight into him investigating a crime scene.
Mm.
Um, and there's a lot of trying to put clues together, investigating crime scenes, trying to unravel a mystery that the Riddler is stringing him along. Um, Runs into like Catwoman and the Penguin, but it's not like a normal superhero movie. It's like it's a detective movie.
I feel like for the Riddler in specific, that's just the angle you have to take on it. There's only one way you can do a Riddler story, and uh, I'm remembering the last time the films tried to do the Riddler. It wasn't great. So I can appreciate a more film noir take on it of just a crazy bastard and just gotta follow the clues that he leaves behind because he is that kind of crazy to figure
The
him out.
The Riddler believes that what he is doing is right and correct, and he's trying to uh he's trying to get rid of something else that he considers like he's trying to be a bit of a vigilante in a sense of trying to weed out corruption and liars in the city, and
Hmm.
whatever route that takes. And the character of Batman slash Bruce Wayne, but he's really Batman. Um, has his own character arc and develops because he's still a very young Batman. He's like 2 years into it.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know. Whenever he's Bruce Wayne, he just looks like garbage, and Alfred's just like, I'm concerned about you, Bruce. And you can, and for once, it's just like, yeah, no, I understand why.
Hmm.
I understand why you're concerned about him.
Kind of sells the
It's
party boy reputation if he always looks hungover, though. I guess.
yeah, kind of. Um, I will say there are some parts where Robert Pattinson's acting isn't that great, but to be fair, the Batman that he's playing is one who has suppressed a lot of emotion.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm just thinking back to the reviews. All the negative reviews are like, "This Batman doesn't smile. How can you make a movie this grim?" It's like,
Yeah,
well, it's a
it's
Batman movie.
it's Batman.
It's a good Batman movie with um actual like
Well,
Gotham feels very dark.
yeah. I mean, I I did see responses of like, hey, maybe we should go back to like Adam West Batman, where it's all fun and upbeat, because that's what we want right now. It's fun and upbeat, and I can understand the impetus for that kind of thought pattern, but Batman is not the vehicle for that. Like even in the '60s, that was a response to like Comics Code and all that shit, and even the show itself was a parody more than it was actual, anything. Like it was very intentionally silly because it was making fun of the thing that it was at the time, that Batman was at the time. So asking for that again is a weird thing to ask. There are a lot of other characters that are better vehicles for that kind of character. That are better vehicles for that kind of story rather, and tone.
Mm. Yeah,
Not every character needs to be everything to everyone, and Batman especially doesn't. Even though Warner are so very much trying to make him that. you know.
but this is a Batman that goes to multiple crime scenes, investigates those crime scenes, finds clues, gathers information that you need a Batman to gather. Like
Bullshit technology.
he's got a little bit of some BS technology. But I mean the thing that's the most useful to him, I would argue, is the fact that he has these contact lenses that basically record what he sees.
Hmm.
It's like video recording contacts. Um which, you know what? Okay. Sure.
Hmm.
That's just useful.
Yeah. Hmm.
It allows him to look at clues again without having to go back into the crime scene and get permission from the police
Yeah.
and a few other things. But
Hmm.
yeah, good Batman movie. I
I feel
recommend it.
like contact lenses is maybe a bit much when he could just have a camera on his suit. But okay.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many easier methods.
Well, he's fancy that way.
I guess.
You can have your gadgets, Batman. Nobody else wants to use them anymore. Gadgets, that is.
Hmm.
Um. So I spent the majority of my time.
Sorry. Sorry. I just imagined, like, Wayne Enterprises trying to put out their new super cool camera contact lenses, and everyone was like, wait, like Google Glass? And they're like, oh, shit, this product's a failure already. God damn it. Thanks, Google.
Well, here you go, Bruce. We got some leftovers. And Bruce is just like fist pumping. Yes.
Mm.
Um, I've put 60 hours into Elden Ring.
Oh, of course you did.
That game is massive.
Hmm.
And when I say like massive, I mean massive.
Hmm.
It's also incredibly fun. Um, Everybody's talking about Elden Ring.
Oh yeah.
It is Dark Souls, but um, extremely huge.
Hmm. I was gonna say if you were gonna say like, but it's an open world, I might have smacked you a little bit. But yeah.
There's multiple large areas you can go through. Tons of mini dungeons with their own bosses. Um, Tons of weapons, armor, spells. If you want to play a spellcaster, it's super viable in this game.
Hmm.
Just want to say that, like, they normally nerf them, but they haven't nerfed them yet, so they're super powerful.
Hmm.
Um, you can use, if you don't want to summon, rely on the online component to summon people, you can use an item called Spirit Ash, and the Spirit Ashes you collect allow you to summon various enemies that you have fought before.
Hmm.
So, like, oh hey, you can summon this pack of wolves that attack, right? And they can take away the boss's attention.
Hmm.
Compared to stronger ones, such as, oh hey, you know that boss you fought at the end of this dungeon? What if you summoned that one?
Hmm.
Like, okay, I'll take that. Um, or my favorite one, which is the mimic, in which you summon a clone of yourself.
Oh.
And unlike you, this clone has significantly more HP and doesn't have restrictions on the items that it can use because it can use all the items in your quick bar up to an infinite amount. And also possesses infinite FP so that it can spam spells or special weapon arts.
Hmm.
Very, very
So,
nice.
so what you're telling me is the protagonist is Vaishni.
Yeah, yeah, you can do like you can summon a giant knight to the banished knight Oleg with his double great swords doing like freaking cyclone dives.
Oh, I want to play that game. I want to play it. It is. Guess where it's going? It's on the list now. Yeah.
Yeah. Um what else? I found multiple underground cities, fought against armies of giant ants. Um I went into my least favorite place in any Souls game ever, which is called the Lake of Rot. I don't want to go there ever again.
Mm.
I know there's stuff down there. I don't want to go there.
I think I saw a meme of that, which was things to do when you're in this place. Number one, leave. And that was it.
There's a status element called Scarlet Rot in this game,
Mm.
and it fills up way faster than your poison bar, and then is like super poison. And it's a very hard status to get rid of.
Mm.
Um, but you know, there's so many poison swamps in this game.
Mm.
There's so many.
Miyazaki likes his poison swamps.
I found an entire castle in a poisonous swamp.
The joke is right there. The joke is right there. It's staring at me.
Also, the amount of messages I've seen whenever there's a castle or a fort that simply says Fort Knight
Hmm.
and a million likes.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Messages are global in Elden Ring. The Japanese are very confused right now.
Yes, they are.
Amazing chest ahead and finger butthole, like all that shit does not translate.
The one where the person has their arms spread out over the where the armors are and where their crotches would be, and it just says try two handing.
Hmm.
Um, the storytelling in this game is significantly more coherent than any other Souls game, which is nice.
Hmm.
I can
I
tell
mean,
what's going on.
the story was coherent in the Souls games. Is just not explicit a lot of the time. Like by the halfway point in the game, you knew what was going on and what you were doing, kind of thing.
I feel like once you kind of get the gist of what's going on, it's like, oh crap, we're in this place. Oh crap, that's that guy. The only issue is there's a lot of characters that have similar sounding names,
Hmm.
and that can get a little bit confusing. I've been doing a lot of co-op in the game as well. In what is one of my favorite fights in the entire game, where the game's just like, hey, summon a bunch of dudes. Summon like 6 extra NPCs to help you fight this one guy. Plus up to 2 players, so yeah.
Hmm.
I'm running a Dex and Intelligence build because spellcasting is very fun. I like summoning a giant great sword that shoots a beam of ice.
And also, Dex is superior to Strength.
There's so many good strength weapons though.
Yeah, but Dex is still better.
And if you're doing a faith build, faith is extremely powerful.
For now,
For
we
now.
we know what happens to faith builds.
There's a faith and int sword you can use that allows you to use 2 extremely powerful weapon arts, one of which is the equivalent of a sorcery that costs 60 int to use.
Hmm.
But you can just use that as a weapon art, and it just melts bosses.
Yeah, builds that rely on faith and int are usually not a thing that exists or are viable. Like, I remember Dark Souls 1, where they added the. Oh, God, what were they called? I forget what they were called, but they were like specific spells that were like dark faith spells or dark sorceries or something that required both int and faith, and they were just kind of shitty versions of regular int spells.
But like that's the thing. There's so much crap in this game. You can just pick 2 stats that you like and take them as far as you want. And you can do some nutso stuff. Um, One stat that kind of stands out is the arcane stat, which is used for boost your item discovery, and it can be necessary for some spells. But what it really focuses on is status ailments and your chances of inflicting them and the amount that you inflict. So if you go for a Dex and Arcane build, there's some weapons and stuff you can use that can really afflict enemies with statuses and are great for PvP. Just and great against bosses because bleed is an extremely powerful status effect to inflict on people.
So what you're telling me is I need to do a dex build with high arcane so that I can be the samurai that does all the bleed all the time.
You can start as a samurai class and it gives you an uchi katana.
That's the one. That's the one.
Um, that's what I started as. Gives you a small shield so you can parry as well, which is nice. but I had to go searching a bit before I could find a 100% blocking shield.
Yeah, that's always the goal in the early game is get a shield that blocks physical 100%.
Because there's a time to there's a time to block and there's a time to parry. Also, because jumping is a button in this game, jump attacks are super good.
Mm.
Doing a jump strong attack deals so much damage and breaks guards so easily.
Mm. I have a very important question.
Yeah,
How is the super jump horse?
amazing.
Is he super? Does he jump?
He has a double jump. And there are several bosses that are recommended that you fight on horseback. And if you have a flail, you can tear through some bosses. Because the flail has multiple hits because when you wind it up for the strong. And you can also like jump on a dime by being target locked on a boss with your double jump. So you jump and then you quickly can jump and like change your direction completely.
So what you're telling me is horse MVP for this game?
Horse can die though.
Huh?
If horse die, you have to use a flask of healing to bring horse back.
Well, you would every time, obviously. It's
Yes.
a horse.
Unfortunately, if you don't have a flask because you're fighting a boss, that means you're horseless. But if you're knocked off your horse, you're likely going to die soon anyway.
Mm.
Yeah. I fought so many bosses. I feel like 40 is a good number.
That's a lot.
And I'm not done yet. Um a lot of those bosses are unique.
Mm.
There are some repeats, but usually when they are repeated, they're like a higher tier with an expanded move set. And if it's a boss that you can get Spirit Ashes for and summon, then you can upgrade them fully. You can upgrade your Spirit Ashes, by the way, and if you upgrade them fully, then they gain the abilities of the more powerful self, which
Mm.
is really cool.
Mm.
There's also a whole like little hub area that you get access to, which is nice and calming. Um, and the game has some areas in which I absolutely do not want to go. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Oh, I don't want to go back.
Mm.
Don't go to Kaled until you're a significantly higher level.
Cool.
It's something I had to learn because I went to Kaled early. And when the sky turns red and I feel like I'm in Berserk,
Mm.
which is where you get Guts' greatsword, by the way, is in Kaled.
Again, Miyazaki likes Berserk.
Yeah, there's some really berserky demons. Um, yeah, game's great. I am just consuming it. It's gigantic. It's so huge. I'm currently using the meta weapon, I guess it's called Moonveil, which lets you sheath it. It's a katana that you sheath, and then you can fire out either a horizontal or vertical wave of light that travels a good distance and deals a ton of damage and can travel through multiple enemies.
Mm.
I'm obviously not going to use the one that absolutely destroys the game, which is the Sword of Night and Flame, which ugh. Yeah, if you
I want to
like
play it.
if yeah, um it's on the list.
It's on the list. God damn it. You know, the list is probably a lot shorter now because I've forgotten most of the things that are on it.
You're playing the new Pokemans though.
Which got added to the list the moment I bought it, though. So that's not. That's really more of a breaking even kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of running through and finding all the different areas that I missed because there's so many areas in this game that you can easily miss.
Mm.
Everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different. There's multiple endings, multiple pathways to get to the ending, multiple pathways to get to anything in the game.
Mm.
For example, I was invited to a place called the Volcano Manor, right?
Mm.
Um, but I I didn't use the invitation because I didn't know. Like, supposedly, what's supposed to happen is you go to the lift that takes you up to the Atlas Plateau, which is this whole other area,
Mm.
and then the lady who gave you the invitation is like, here, and then she teleports you straight to the Volcano Manor. I didn't do that. I went down to this hidden area underneath a magic academy and let a boss grab me so that it would spit me out in the volcano. After it would kill me and then respawn all the way in a volcano. And then I ended up making my way to the Volcano Manor from there.
Hmm.
That's how I reached the Volcano Manor. And then it's just like weird that you showed up without an invitation. I'm like, shut up. You don't know what I've been through. I went through so many terrifying high level things to get here. There's teleportation traps in treasure chests, by the way, that will teleport you all the way across the map.
Hmm.
One of them can spit you out literally right in the city, the capital city. That is an area that you need a lot of different things to get to. That's like super hard to get through.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So aside from all of that, I'm teaching kindergarten for the next couple weeks.
Cool.
Just taught a week of kindergarten, and I got to do another week, and then on Wednesday I'll be released from my duty.
Mortal Coil.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Teaching kindergartners is very fun, very wholesome, but also
Exhausting.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Cool. I uh, I went back to doom scrolling while you were talking about Elden Ring because I have no context, so I couldn't really contribute. Um, they've successfully denazified Ukraine.
Wow.
Yeah, good job, Russia.
Successfully.
Quote headline: Russian warlord who led neo-Nazi Sparta battalion shot dead in Ukraine. So technically, there are now less Nazis in Ukraine.
Well, mission accomplished. Time to go home.
Yeah, yeah. Time to go home.
We got him. Let's go. Okay, bye guys. See ya. We're not gonna pay for rebuilding. Bye.
They can't pay for a sandwich, let alone rebuilding. So Elden Ring's fun. That sounds cool. I want to play it. I will never be able to. What's the specs for Elden Ring? I don't actually know.
I don't know. PC port apparently has a lot of issues right now anyway, so you're better off waiting until it gets patched.
Yeah.
I'm playing it on PS5, so it's pretty stable.
GeForce GT. It's actually pretty low, but you know, it's. Those are the minimum. GTX 1070. I think I'm well beyond a lot of these specs. Well, no, yeah, that too. Yeah. I'm. Oh shit, that's right. I bought a new PC a while ago. Of course, I'm beyond these. Never mind. I'm a dumbass. I've forgotten everything about everything. I feel like
It's okay.
I feel like I let my brain reset this week, so it's kind of good. It's very good
Sometimes,
because I have like it was so nice as soon like I got a commission done on Thursday I think, and that was the last thing I was behind on. So I've had like 3 days of like I don't have to do shit. Granted, doom scrolling, so I didn't get to enjoy it that much. So, but you know, it was something. Raring to go on writing another thing, so that's cool. That's my obligation for today, and by today I mean the day that starts in about 12 minutes.
oh yes, wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah, that's gonna be fun. Anything else you do,
Uh,
Zero?
um, anything else? I mean, I had a big session of D&D in which multiple player characters got killed
Mm,
because the boss started pulling out a slaying longbow, which if it hits you, you have to roll a save or die if you have under 100 hit points.
mm,
But that was only later on into the fight, and they managed to beat him. And then the medics came in and were able to revive everybody except for one player who wished for their character to remain dead.
mm.
It's an epic boss fight.
Cool.
I feel like as I'm playing Elden Ring, it's impacting a little bit. It's giving me inspiration for some things that I'm creating, which is kind of cool. But it's getting me back into a mindset that I used to have when I played Souls games a lot more because I didn't play Sekiro at all.
Mm.
Yeah, that's it for me. Um, good time. Let's hope that the situation with Ukraine improves quickly.
One must hope.
Did you see the thing about the lady telling the Russian soldier to put the seeds in his pocket?
No.
She was going up to this Russian guy, just saying, "Here, put these seeds in your pocket. That way something will grow when you die."
Oh yeah, that. Yep. Yep. A reminder that the Russians had no idea why they were there. It's like, wow, what?
She's like, "What the F are you doing here?" And he's like, "Man, this discussion isn't going to lead anywhere. What are you doing here?" It's just like, this is not what we were promised.
Mm.
I got some Patreon donations I can read out.
Yeah. Patreon, yay.
So thank you to Ryu for that $4.20 plus that $10, so $14.20. Thank you to Sailor of House Thunderbird for that $5 donation. Thank you to Vale for that $10 donation. Thank you to Boy Buy Fresh for that $20 donation. Thank you to Greek Guy for that $1 donation. Thank you to Ethan F for that $10 donation. Bomber BCM for that $1 donation. The Crossbrain for your $10 donation. And Choper37 for that $10 donation. You guys are awesome.
I can't believe Ryu fixed his donation that he started another one because he completely lost the original. And he fixed it only to update the meme.
Yes.
Like, God damn it, Ryu.
Thank you all for always supporting us and, stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in March already.
We're in March.
Oh, it's my birthday a couple days ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're older. Sucks.
I'm now 27 years old.
Baby.
Wasn't I like 18 when we started this podcast?
I think so. Well, not when we started this podcast. Actually, yeah. When we started this podcast, 2013. Yeah, absolutely.
Damn. Almost 10 years. All right.
I need to stop doom scrolling, but oh boy.
What's going on that's got you sucked in right now?
Russia are disconnecting themselves from the global internet.
I know good.
Hey, remember all those people that I said Patreon were helping out before? Saving the money for? It's... Things are going to get bad.
Yep.
And they are all in positions where we are literally unable to help and will be even more unable to help by apparently March 11th.
Well, let's
Man.
let's hope for the best. It's all we can do at this point. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, so that's an episode of the podcast. The Discord in the description, Patreon link in the description if you feel like it. Also, consider donating to Ukraine, and yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.